so they finna take this down. That's okay.
Hey, people.
What up?
What's up?
Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Just want you guys to know that. Right out the gate, man.
Sir, all lives matter?
Yeah, but your life is not on fire. But anyways, yeah, this is gonna be an episode.
Yeah, this is gonna be a defining episode. We'll lose a lot of listeners. Our last episode got no listens for some reason.
Oh, that's fine.
We didn't really advertise like that, but this is gonna be like a big one. A lot of people are gonna hate us for this. A lot of people are gonna love us for this.
Yeah. I mean, we're black. Like, number one, I do feel like an obligation to say something. Like, in the sphere and the influence that we have, the platform that we've created, we have to say something. Being black men, but secondly, like, justice as a black person is not viewed the same as justice for a white person. Like, it's literally two different worlds. I think it was Trevor Noah, which he had just a beautiful example of like how this whole thing works. But the way that like white people view the justice system and the way that black people view the justice system is completely different. Like, I honestly think if I get arrested, I don't have the same rights that a white person would have. And like my peers are not going to really be my peers because the society has warped their minds to say he's black and he's not as valuable as our white counterparts. Yeah. And that's what's tragic. But yeah, we're going to talk about justice and all that good stuff.
Yeah, man. That's a heck of a way to start, Brandon.
Hey, man, I'm gonna be honest because I've been pissed off too long. Yeah. And then you gave me a microphone, so that's your fault.
Yeah. So our goal, or my goal for this episode, is to be as honest as I can.
Yeah. And
still try to glorify God in my response.
Amen. That's good, Jeff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that too. I'm gonna do the same thing.
So I don't even know where to begin, but I mean, obviously, so we're recording this on Tuesday, on Blackout Tuesday, which I didn't know was happening until I woke up this morning.
You got on Instagram.
And everybody had been, I got to do this. I got to. So full transparency for me, I didn't know what to do as far as like my part, quote unquote.
Okay.
Because, a lot of people, if you ain't doing nothing, you ain't doing nothing, and I feel that. Yeah. I'm like, do I post something on social media? I'm not going out to a protest. I don't know. I was just like, I'm not doing anything.
The protest in Fresno was really peaceful and it was really beautiful.
Yeah, I drove by it. I know
there was a lot of people. I just didn't expect that kind of
it was cool
turnout.
So I didn't know what to do, and I felt guilty a little bit. I don't really know what to do. But what I have been doing behind the scenes is I've had multiple conversations. I've had a lot of conversations. Had a really good conversation last night with my brother and our one of our childhood friends who's Indian, my boy Jaskaran Singh, Dr. Jaskaran Singh. I should give him his respect.
Doctor.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Let's go.
One of the smartest
medical
people
doctor,
I know.
MD?
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah. UCLA. Yeah, he's a beast.
Let's go.
But we had a really good conversation last night about this whole thing. And so I've just been talking to people. So I feel like that's kind of what I can do. But I was really encouraged by your post that you put out on your Instagram a few days ago.
Man, I didn't get not one negative response from that post.
That's awesome.
Not one. Everyone who responded, called. I got a lot of got text messages, emails, comments, and DMs, and I was really encouraged. I really thought someone was gonna be like, "Well, you should express yourself differently," because I cussed.
I did notice. I was like, oh.
And it was like, it was weird because sometimes like when I'm speaking, I'm like, I feel like I'm not, people are not like hearing what I'm saying. And I'm like, I want to convey how the system is like messing with my mind and how like, I don't want to be afraid, but I have to be like very cautious of my actions because what they could lead to. I don't have a choice. Yeah.
And
so
that's
like,
what people don't understand. Hopefully we can get that across today. But yeah, man,
I think so.
You were very clear and very understandable and very articulate and very real.
I appreciate that.
And so that was encouraging. And that made me feel even more guilty. I was like, dang, Brandon saying stuff. Everybody's saying that. I ain't doing nothing. And so this morning when I saw the black tile and the hashtag, I was like, all right, I can do this.
Yeah.
So I did it.
Yeah. Which I believe builds solidarity. And
yeah, it was really cool to be scrolling on my timeline all day and just seeing the different people that I follow
who stand with you.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, cool.
Because at least you know, like, okay, I can at least like if you posted a black tile and you were lying, then at least I could be like, you're a hypocrite. But at least I know where you stand. But if you post a black tile, then I can feel as if like I can count on you if I need something, especially for the people that are actually in our circle. So we had a few students from our Campus Life Center here in Fresno, and it was crazy because like these kids are white, but like for them to post in support of our pain and suffering and the injustice that's happening in this country, I was blown away. Like, it was crazy. I was like, first of all, they reposted my video, which had cussing in it. And then I was like, there's no way they're going to, like, that was crazy.
They didn't watch it all the way through.
I hope not, because that was tense. But they posted that, and then, like, they messaged me and said, hey, I just want you to know that, like, I don't know what to do. So this is one of our students, Russian lady. She was like, I don't know what to do, but I want you to know whatever you need, like from me, I'm there, and I will speak to whoever and like, you know, tell them about your character, you as a man, and how. And I was like, that's lit.
That's cool, man.
I need that. You know what I'm saying? From a teenager, like that's crazy. Like you have been supportive of me in this time, and I don't have to feel like I owe an explanation for how I'm feeling. You already see it, and that's huge to me.
I think that's cool, a testament to your character. I think that's, as a Christian, that's how our lives should be. Yeah. Where we live our lives in such a way that our character speaks for itself. Yeah. When certain situations come about, our character will vouch for us. Like I think it's in Proverbs, a good name is more precious than silver and gold.
Amen. Amen.
And what better name than the name that's stamped on us? Yeah. Which is Christ.
So like records.
Shout out to Ryan McClarty.
Hey, no lie though. Ryan watched the video and he hit me up. The same day, and he was like, "Hey man, I watched the video. It made me cry. We gotta hang out." I was like, "What?" So like, yeah, I'm gonna be at the studio at 1. Can you come? And I was like, whatever.
Of course, it's on his time.
So yeah,
it's convenient for him. Love that guy.
So I pull up to the studio, man, and he's like, I think you'll like this song, like given what you just said. And he played the song, and honestly, like, it was a dope song. Like the lyrics were really, like, way deep, like stupid deep. And I was like, yo, bro, like this is it. Like I love this song. And then his engineer, DeVale, like I gotta shout out DeVale. That dude is a master at mixing music. So he mixed the music and made the song like just sync. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So like Ryan and I are just like in the studio talking. But when we got done with the song, he wanted to show Jess. So we go back to the house. We play it. Jess was like, oh, I like the song she's talking about and all this kind of stuff. And then like Ryan and I sat down and we were thinking like, we have a good voice in Fresno, like Black people do. Mm-hmm. We got people who are like near the top, you know, like DJ Kreiner up there. Mm-hmm. Phil, he's white, but Phil and Reese Sky, they are very pro-Black. Mm-hmm. You just have a lot of people who are prestigious in our community who are like supportive and are aware of like the injustice going on. And then we were like, yo, they can organize these marches, but like, what do you do after a march? What do you do even after a riot? Like, what is the action that you take? Like, do we just get out to the polls and vote? And it's like, him and I said, yeah, that's one thing we can do. We can get out to the polls and we can speak to we can vote and like change legislation and whatnot. But what we have to do is like start at a community level. Like we have to like get people not to be afraid of the police. We have to get people not to be afraid.
Get the police to not be
afraid of us, no doubt. So what we said is like there is a organization, I think it's called like Bridging the Gap or something like that. Ryan's probably gonna kill me for saying it wrong.
Oh, but bringing broken neighborhoods back together.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, it's part of it.
So that organization literally brought police officers and neighborhood organizers into one room. And now those police officers go into the community and they know people in that community. They know Little Ray Ray. They know Juju Bean. They know everybody in the hood. Yes. The police officers know the kids by name. Yeah. So now when they go in the hood, it's no longer I'm pulling the gun. It's like, no, Ray, take your butt home before I tell your grandma. And like that changes everything.
Because I see you as a human being.
Yes. Man. I don't see you as a thug. I don't see you as a drug dealer. Like even if I like for me, like I think about this for my downtown Fresno kids. Some of them, one of my kids was literally selling drugs because he was trying to help his mom who lost her job, trying to do something noble, but by the wrong means. He was selling drugs, but I promise you, if the police would have saw him, they would just say he was a drug dealer, but they have no idea like why he's doing what he's doing. And if he had a different skill, he could probably use it. He didn't. He was really good with numbers, really good with money. So it was like, you have a skill, you just don't know how to use it in a different way. Drugs is all you've seen. So when the police saw him, or if they would have saw him in that state, they would have been like, "You're going to jail. You're going to juvie. That's it." But if that police officer knew this teenager, he would then say, "What are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? Like, if your mom needs help, why didn't you come to me? Like, I can help out. We got programs. We got this." Yes. It changes everything when you have a relationship with someone. And I think that's like the view that us as Christians have to take. It's like, we can be mad at the police all we want to, but if we don't have a relationship with them, then we're just as bad as them. We're just as bad as like what we think they are, because we haven't tried to literally build a relationship with the officer himself and see him also as an image bearer. Yes, as a human being.
Okay, so somewhere I want to go. I'm trying to get my words together to go there. So, as a Christian, what should be a Christian's response? What should be the white Christian's response to what's going on?
That's really good. I was sack of funny. God is real. So just the other day, had one of my youth group kids. We were on our Zoom call, our normal Monday night Zoom call, and he happened to be the only one that got on. And at first it's kind of like, man, I was really gonna talk about this whole Black Lives Matter movement and all that kind of stuff, and like really like give these kids the business. And then it's one kid. It's like, what do we do now? But the cool thing is, he asked questions. And his questions weren't leading questions. They weren't like questions like, he wasn't like angry asking questions. He was like looking for genuine understanding.
I have a comment about that. Remind me about that.
And I was like, I will. I was like, yo. I was like, you really care? He was like, no, I'm white. And I was like, you know what? You are. He's like, I'm white, and I don't understand like why. So the specific question he asked is, why are they rioting? Why are they burning down buildings and flipping over cars? Like, what does that solve? And he literally asked because he was like, when I'm mad, I can't do this in my house. I can't like throw stuff. Like my mom will put me out. Like I can't do that. And I found my mom has taught me that it's counterintuitive to try to get your way by means of destroying somebody else's property. And I was like, bro, I get that. So he then says, he's like, so like, what's the purpose or what's the reason? So Sienna actually was on the call with John, and nice. Which was amazing. So she opened it up and she was like, well, truthfully, I don't condone violence. I'm not with that. But if you get angry enough, like you're going to tear up some stuff. If you get mad enough, you are going to break some stuff because how angry you are. And in order not to hurt people, you hurt things. So that was one explanation. Then she goes on to say, history has shown that not only peaceful protests get places, but peaceful protests, this is history. This is not like her speaking. She was like, history has shown if there's a peaceful protest or if there is a delegation of people, like, not delegation, I don't know what it's called, but when people talk, like, sit in the room and talk, and we try to do things peacefully, when that shows it's not working, the next thing to do is to rage. Like, if we've talked and we've done, all right, cool, we try to talk it out. Like, this finna get in. So she said, we've marched, we've tried to do peaceful protests. We literally did the kneeling at the national anthem. We tried to do marches all around the city, all around the state, all around the country. We've done things like boycotting. We've done all these things trying to be peaceful, but nothing has changed. So at this point now, it's like, F y'all, no one's listening. I'm going to throw a tantrum so that you will finally take a look at what the heck is happening. And I think we even do it in hopes that you don't focus on this symptom, which is the riot, but that you would look at what caused this to happen. Same thing with the child. Children they'll tantrum when they want something. But if you find out like what it is that they're tantruming for, then you can be like, okay, all right, cool. I can actually fix that. I can help you in this situation. My kid's throwing a tantrum because they want something to eat. Okay, it's been 4 hours. I haven't fed you. Okay, my bad. Yeah. Here's some food. And I think that's something that like she was explaining to our student, and he understood, like, so basically you guys are just like fed up. And I was like, let's go. Man. Yes, we are fed up. So we asked this question, not angrily, not even biased. He was looking for genuine understanding, and I thought that was phenomenal.
That's great.
So I think that's what one thing our white brothers and sisters can do is, like, if you don't know, don't assume. Ask a black person. They're all over the place.
Here's one thing you can add to that. Assume that you know nothing.
Yeah.
Whatever you think you know, just delete it and ask us. Now, part of the reason why you don't ask us is you don't have relationships with anybody that looks like us.
There you go.
Okay, you, instead of having unity, you have uniformity.
It's not the same.
It means you all look the same. Everyone around you looks the same. That's all you talk to. It's all you congregate with. Then you have no one that looks like us to ask and to actually genuinely want to know.
Yeah.
So, personally, I think if you are a Christian of any race, what happened to George Floyd, what happened to Ahmaud Arbery, what happened to Philando Castile, Alton Sterling. I mean, we can go back
Eric
to
Gardner.
We can go back to Trayvon. We can go back to Oscar Grant. You can go back to Mike Brown. This isn't, and that's just recent.
Yeah,
that's like 9 years.
Yeah,
this has been going on to us for centuries.
Yeah, we've been free-ish since 1865.
Guys, like, people who don't understand what's going on, why we're doing what we're doing, we are exhausted.
Totally.
It's been happening to us nonstop. You don't understand what it's like. Every time I get in my car and leave my house, I have to think in the back of my mind, there's a chance that I could die by being totally innocent. Having done nothing. Or I could be arrested and assume that I did a crime.
Yep.
Just because of how I look.
And if I can't afford a good lawyer, I'm going to jail.
Yeah. Like, even if they may never charge me with anything. Or like,
that's true.
Even if I'm found innocent, for the rest of my life, I have to put on my application, have you been arrested? Yes. Like, it's literally life ruining.
No doubt.
Okay. Just because of how I look.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Like, and you have to understand, like, it's post-traumatic stress. Like, it's just built up.
And it's generational.
It's built up. Like, oh, it's a lot, guys. You have to understand us. Like, listen to us. All black people want is to be believed.
Yeah.
Just believe us,
without a video.
Like,
without, like,
here's the crazy thing. I heard Trevor Noah say this. The only reason that this is happening right now is because George Floyd died.
No doubt.
But how many George Floyds out there didn't die? that had their necks kneed on or beat up or whatever, just mistreated.
They didn't die.
They didn't die. So
or it wasn't filmed.
Right.
Like,
right. Let's be
the fact
real.
that
like
the system is in favor of the police officer. That's not fair. They should be held to a higher standard. If a police officer throws a rock at a civilian, they should be arrested. Like a rock, I don't care, because they are in charge of enforcing the law. If you are in charge of enforcing the law and you break it, no, you need to go to prison forever. Like, you need to be punished. Like, your punishment can't be lesser than everyone else's. Yeah. Because you're a law enforcement. No, your punishment is greater than everyone else's.
Have greater responsibility. Just like preachers and pastors are held to higher standards than other Christians. The leadership should be at a higher standard, not a lower standard. They shouldn't be able to get away with more than everybody else.
I mean, I'm talking about across the board. I'm talking about judges, even lawyers. Like, there shouldn't be ways that you can like scapegoat, or you can like not scapegoat, the way you can like get out of things. Like, you shouldn't be able to get acquitted for anything, especially murder.
Yeah, man.
Like, and then it shouldn't. Let's get into.
So let me make a comment, and then I wanna say something else as well. Okay. So my wife and I and Patient were very fortunate to have a great time with some white brothers and sisters at Flipside Church on Sunday. And it was me and my wife and Patient were the only 3 black people in the room, and everybody else was white. About 20 people in there. Jeez. 3 of them were black. And so we're having a conversation about this whole thing, and we're all expressing ourselves, the 3 of us. And one of the people in there, so I'm going to go with both. So this one young lady, she said eventually, like, I don't know how to feel. I know I'm supposed to feel something, but I don't know what to feel. And then I feel like I'm not allowed to have an opinion or to voice my opinion because I'm white. And my white brothers and sisters, like, there's nothing, could be anything further from the truth. You need to have an opinion.
Yes.
Like, I said this to her. I said, the civil rights movement would not have succeeded without white people. Yeah. Not Obama, regardless of how you feel about him, 55% of his voters were white. If every black person in America voted for him, he still wouldn't come close to him. We're only 13% of the population. Like, nothing gets done, nothing changes unless the people who have power use their power to change it.
Come on.
The oppressed people cannot free themselves.
You better preach, Jeff.
So you have to have an opinion. Even if you disagree with us.
Still gotta have it.
That's at least better than having just be like, I don't care. If just be conscious of this. The fact that you have the ability to not care and live your life and be unaffected is the evidence of white privilege that you need.
Hey, come on.
That should tell you that white privilege exists. Because I don't have the privilege to not care that I'm black.
No.
I have to care by default because I could literally die or get hurt just from being black. So I don't have the privilege to forget that I'm black. Okay? You get to...
Or to cover it up.
Yeah. You could literally live your life and not be affected by anything that's happening to black people in this country. That's white privilege. Okay? Now, I know you didn't I didn't do it. It's not my fault. Okay, cool. But you are in a position of power. You were born into it. You didn't do anything to earn it. Okay? Use it.
Yeah.
Use
that
now,
voice.
Another person there asked this very clearly biased question.
Gotta love those.
Okay. And he said, so do you guys think, he started his question like this. A lot of times we all, we live in our echo chambers and we kind of are reinforced by whatever we think, and which is very true. But I'm like, I know where you're going with this question. And he was like, do you guys think that cops are like intentionally targeting black people? And I said, and I didn't get to say everything I wanted to say, but what I did say was the following. No, I don't think that they are getting in their cars at the station. All right, let's go find some black people. Let's go wrangle them up. Oh, there's one. Let's get him. Like, now, some of them might be.
No, don't doubt.
Okay, the dude that had his neck on homie was definitely out there looking for it. But I don't think that they are consciously, like, intentionally trying to find black people. But here's what I do know. Okay? Thanks to the history of this country, the way this country developed and redlining and all these different things in our history.
Yeah.
Okay? For whatever reason, black and brown people are concentrated in certain parts of cities.
Yeah.
You can even just take Fresno.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And economic opportunities, different companies, all kind of different things are not in those communities.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
So now, and then there's less educational opportunities in those cities, in those parts of the city. Okay. So because of that, people have less economic opportunity, less education. Crime is up in those parts of the city, which means those parts of the city are more policed
Than any other part of the city.
than the white parts of the city.
Trill.
So you're going to have more interaction with the police,
Therefore,
as a person of color.
that's why there's more black arrests. That's why
okay.
there's more black people incarcerated.
Yes.
If you put all the black people in one place
Yeah.
and you give them
And you have
less
them
than
no opportunities,
what,
what do you expect?
bruh.
Now, on top, what I didn't get to say, I wish I would have said it, was for whatever reason, our skin is terrifying. I don't know what it is, but we just look scary.
I don't even know how.
So you combine the over policing with our
Intimidating.
terrifying skin. We're so scary. You're always threatened for your life, and you need to have 6 officers to take down one person.
That's ridiculous.
Bring up a whole squad of cars to get one unarmed person because we're just so
Dude.
dangerous. We're like freaking superheroes,
Superheroes.
I guess. Okay, that's why it just happens to be that way.
Yeah.
And then you're operating in a system that historically was designed. The police, the origin of the police was during slavery to catch runaway slaves. That's where they come from. So no matter what you do,
I didn't even know that, Jeff.
no matter what you implement,
You just messed me up.
okay, at their very foundation was to
Yeah.
catch black people, to police black people. Okay, so they can't get away from that. And if you think history has no effect on the future, read the Bible.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on. They repeat it all the time. The whole Bible is.
No, it's been way too long. It's been 100. Guys, you realize that Israel got free from Egypt, right?
Yep.
They had God made all his promises to them. If y'all wild out, this is going to
what's gonna
happen
happen.
to you. Hundreds of years later, their future was affected by their past.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't think events can connect and affect things? Come on, guys.
And it's not like a lot of people think that it's all just like one lifetime. No, like this is like generations. So
Yes.
it's like literally the sins of the father were manifested in the sin in the son, which then God really put the punishment on them. The people who left the promised land, they died in the promised land, but they didn't have to go into slavery again. You know what I'm saying?
Not yet. And
not
then,
yet.
and then you have Isaiah, who's in like the 700s. And then you finally get to like Jeremiah, who's like 200 years later.
Sheesh.
And then they go into exile based on what people were doing hundreds of years before them.
Yep.
So, yes, history has an effect on the future, guys.
It does.
If Christians,
Mm-hmm.
okay, if you think, no, you can't, no.
And the fact that the system hasn't changed. Like, this is the problem to me, and I could be completely wrong. I think the problem is the system was built against, or not even against, let me say, the system was built in favor of the majority.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that, everything that flows through it is still based on the
Yes.
majority. So anyone who's not the majority comes through that system, they are being
They're
treated
automatically disadvantaged.
disadvantaged automatically. Like, first of all, I just want to put this out here. I'm not afraid of police officers, not necessarily. I'm terrified of the system,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm terrified of the system because I have seen it fail over and over and over. And just recently,
More times than not.
it failed my brother
Mm-hmm.
twice in a
Yeah.
row,
Mhm.
like twice in a row. And the thing is, when someone says, you know, you have the right to a fair trial, you have the right to an attorney, you have right,
Due process.
all of that, like the attorney that is against you and the attorney that's supposed to be for you are all the same.
They're homies.
They're all homies.
Yeah.
Bro, I saw literally my brother's caseworker, my brother's public defender,
Defense, yeah.
having lunch with the prosecutor.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a thing?
Bro,
that's a thing?
We went to the courthouse one time to just observe cases for my wife's criminology degree. And we're watching the same thing. Two guys going against each other. And we get in an elevator. And then they get in an elevator.
Together.
And they're like, yeah, man. So, yeah, bro, they're just chopping it up. Like,
What you doing?
I got this case. I'm going to try to get a plea deal for this guy, bro. Like, what's his name? Yeah. Like, there's no humanity in it.
There's none. Like,
they're just
see
numbers.
people as numbers.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm just trying to get this out the way. My brother suffered, and this is not even like black against white.
Mm-hmm.
This is my brother against at the time his wife. And that case was so crazy. They never let my brother say anything. Mm-hmm. They never let him speak. And he was like talking to his public defender, like, yo, when can I like say my side? His side never was heard. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, who do we talk? And this is like what really pissed me off, and it made me cry. It was like, who is free at the time, don't even know who to talk to. Because I talked to his public defender, like, hey, who do I talk to get Chris to, say his side of the story? Well, you got to do this, you got to do this. He sends me like to 4 different places. Mm-hmm. And then the places he sends me to are lawyers that you have to pay for. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, bro, why can't you just do this?
Why don't you do it?
You're the public. Why can't you just do your job? But his job is not to get my brother free. His job is to get my brother the smallest sentence, which is obviously wrong. Like, we don't want any sentence. We want him to walk free. And the fact that my brother went to jail and his wife didn't go to jail baffles me. I'm like, I don't care like how it happens. Like, she did something completely wrong. She attacked first, and him trying to plead self-defense, trying to get away from her, is forced to get her off of him so that he can like walk away from the situation. Now my brother is 6'2", 240 pounds, like solid muscle. So anything he does to his wife, who was like 110 pounds, is going to be catastrophic. Mm-hmm. But that side of the story never gets heard. Mm-hmm. It never. And the crazy thing is, even his wife at the time, she had even said like, I want to speak. I want to like speak to his character. He's not like this. He's not this. He's not that. But even then, they didn't even let her say the side. It was it's not against. It's not even against like my brother and his wife anymore. It was against my brother and what the police say. Mm-hmm. And it was like they weren't even there. They didn't come till after the situation was. I mean, I'm talking about when the police showed up to his house, him and his wife were sitting in the living room, chilling. Like they'd already squashed it. And they was like, "Are you Christopher Jackson?" Yeah. You're under arrest for the da-da-da-da-da. He's like, wait, what? What's going on? And they took him to jail. Then he's been in jail literally for like 2 years now.
Oh man,
the system is not designed for us.
I mean, I was talking to my brother and our friend last night, and I said this, and I really came to this realization last night, and I was like, so the system originally, I'm talking, you go back to the 1600s, 1619, when people first came to create America, mm-hmm. right? The system was set up to benefit white people and disadvantage black people. Now,
because they wanted slaves.
Now, you get to 1865. We don't throw out the system. We amend it. We just add to it. Okay, well, we realized that was messed up, so let's add this. Not change the whole take this system. Like, just kind of add little tweaks to it.
Which is
it's too old and too big to think that, okay, now we're all good, guys. Now everybody's equal. We're cool. All right? We're good.
So stupid.
Okay? Like, that's not how these things work. Now, I want to say this. I kind of want to go in this direction now. And this was a patient was saying on Friday. Mm-hmm. And I don't think people understood him. He actually said the same thing at Flipside, and they didn't really understand him either. I had to translate for him. So...
You said you had to translate?
I had to, yeah.
He speaks English.
Anyway. So, everything that me and Brandon have just talked about with the criminal justice system of America and different things like that. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I don't have high expectations for it because they're not saved.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a worldly system with people who do not have the indwelling of the Holy Spirit, who do not have Christ in them. Mm-hmm. Okay? So my expectations for you are low. I honestly, at this point, I don't really want to hear your solutions at this point. Gotcha. Because it's just ideas. It's just, yeah, well, we should do this. We should do this. We should do this. If God's not in it, I don't expect much. Here's why. Mm-hmm. Racism is a sin.
Yeah.
Okay. Only God can change somebody's heart because it's a heart issue.
Yeah, that's true.
So no policy, no law, no new politician in office is going to change people's hearts.
True.
All that we've seen from our society in this whole like people waking up, being woke, is we don't want to look racist. Yeah. Not that we want to actually feel bad and change.
No.
The lady in Central Park who got fired.
Amy Cooper?
Yeah. Why did she get fired?
Because what she did was immoral?
No.
Oh, because they don't want to.
Because they don't want to look bad.
Yeah.
It's not because you know what, this is wrong, and we actually believe it's wrong. You're gonna hurt our company and our image, so we gotta get rid of you. Mm-hmm. Starbucks having that whole day of like sensitivity training.
Yeah.
It's not because they see it as wrong. It's because we have to not look racist.
Yeah, we have.
That's the best you can expect from a worldly system.
Wow, Jeff.
You can't expect actual heart change.
That's so true.
Okay, so I'm kind of done having this conversation outside of the church.
Yeah.
What needs to happen is this conversation needs to happen in churches, and it's not happening. That's so true. That's pissing me off.
That's so true.
Christians,
y'all.
We should all care when any group is being mistreated and oppressed. Mm-hmm. Okay? When we said this off camera, I'm going to say it now. When you say all lives matter as a response to Black Lives Matter, you're literally arguing against yourself. You sound dumb. Because if all lives matter, you should be upset.
You should be as outraged as we are.
You should be in front of us. You should be in the front of the line. Yeah, all lives matter. So why are you treating Black people like this? Mm-hmm. Why are you treating Asians like this?
Yeah.
Why are you treating anybody like this? Because all lives do matter.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
Because every life is made in the image of God. So I should be pissed.
Yeah.
I should be righteously angered.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Good old righteous indignation.
What we are seeing, what we have been seeing for decades in our white congregations is a fear to talk about this.
Yeah. Because you don't want to mess up like your bottom line. And this is what's crazy. I'm going to be 100% transparent right here. I don't really want to be, but I feel like the Spirit's moving me in this direction and I can't stop. So for the Campus Life Center, I run the social media page.
I noticed. I was like, whoa, and did Jameson sign off on it?
So I run the page and the Instagram page, and on my page and on I run a lot of social media pages, and on all of my predominantly Black pages, I'm posting about the injustices and talking about how like Black Lives Matter and like showing like not just like the Black Lives Matter movement as far as like people just like breaking stuff and like doing dumb stuff. No, like what it's really about, what it was really for. So I'm posting it on all my other feeds, and I'm looking at this one. I'm like, what is making me hesitant to post this? And this is why I posted what I posted, because I noticed that I was entertaining, or I was trying to be less offensive because I know that audience is white. Because I know the majority of the people.
You don't want you guys to be uncomfortable.
I don't want you to feel uncomfortable.
You need to be uncomfortable.
And then I thought about I don't want to like mess up any donors that are giving. I don't want to. But like the fact that I have to think about that, that's BS.
Yes, and that's what's wrong with the society.
I should be able to say to my white brothers and sisters who claiming to be Christians, what's happening is totally wrong, and we need y'all support.
Yes.
I should be able to say that and mention that and post that without fear of retaliation.
Absolutely.
Like, I literally thought about this. I'm like, dude, if I post, I could lose my job. And I was like,
when I saw the post, I'm like, he could lose his job.
But I was like, no, skip that. If I lose my job, then it would be for Christ. It would be for the justice of the people who are being oppressed. Yes. And it would go to show that Youth for Christ is not really down for us like they say they are. But because I didn't lose my job, they really are down. Like, it just goes to prove that you can't be a believer in word only. You have to be Indeed, and people need to see that.
Yeah.
So when I posted that, I was literally ready. I was like, okay, I'm waiting for, one of my supervisors to hit me up and be like, yo, you gotta take that down. But since I posted it, number one, all my Campus Life Center kids, except for like 2 of them, are like legitimately backing us. Like, like, no, we stand with you, whatever you need, however, like help us understand, all that kind of stuff. And then the rest of the Campus Life Center pages, like all the other campuses, they've all like posted something to it after I posted something. And I'm not saying it's like for me, but I'm like, someone has to start it.
Yes.
Someone needs to tell someone, look, this is not right. We need to do something about it. And we've been moving in that direction, and that's been like phenomenal to me. And I'm like, I need people to hear us when we say like Black Lives Matter. We're not saying that all lives don't matter. We're not saying that we're more important. All we're saying is our situation has become blatantly ignored. Our plight has been laughed at and mocked, and people are getting away with literal murder.
Yeah. We're getting lynched.
Like, and folks just be like, oh, damn, that's a terrible one. We shouldn't have to ever say, there goes another one. We shouldn't have to have not another hashtag.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have to do these things. We should be able to live in a world where if somebody kills someone on camera or off camera, that person's held responsible and is not seen as a hero or as someone who like helped out something. Like, no, you killed someone. I don't really care what they did.
Yes.
No crime in America, for sure. No crime in America deserves sudden death.
Yeah, I mean, we have a justice. Going back to the worldly system, there's due process. Okay, if somebody committed a crime, yes, they let them get to trial. Don't kill them, dude. Especially for some little petty like
$20,
fraudulent check or bound. Like,
that's
why is he dead for that? Like, well, he's not a saint. He was no saint. So we have to kill him? What the heck?
It's crazy. And this is the society we live in. And this is what I want you, Mike, our listeners to understand, is that this is why we're hurting. This is why like we're frustrated. This is why we're exhausted. Yeah. Because we keep hearing this, and like for me, I keep thinking that'll never happen to me. But I can't even think that.
You're not really, because you don't have the luxury.
I look at people who are like Mike Brown and people who like Eric Gardner, people like Floyd. I'm like, how are they seen before they died? Because like the media is really good at like changing the narrative and things. So like they want to like just flop it and like turn him into a bad guy, which is really dumb. Because I don't even care if he was a bad guy.
Yes.
Does he deserve instant death? No. No.
But getting back to Christians and in the church, okay, because again, I expect that from the world.
Yeah,
they don't have a reason to see people as people and to see every single person as a sinner.
Yeah,
right, because like you said, no one's a saint. Everyone's a bad guy. There are no good guys. No one is good but God. Right. So like, we as Christians need to have this conversation inside of churches. So my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law, they live in North Carolina, which is a southern state.
Sure enough.
And they are the only black couple that goes to their church. So it's a white church in the South.
Wow.
Okay, and they've had really good experiences up until last Sunday. So I haven't got a chance to watch the sermon. It was online. But from what my sister-in-law shared with us, the pastor in his all-white congregation basically said that the system cannot be changed. So, like, basically,
adapt to it.
Like you can't do anything about it. And white people or just everybody, he said stuff like, I have black friends and I know this, and I've never wanted to be any other race. He said that. But he's just basically, and he basically only called out the protesters and the rioters. He's like, this is sin. Yeah. This is the result of the sin nature. And so that's just how it is. It's the sin nature. But he said nothing
about the police
about the people killing people. Like, listen, yes, it is sin, but you have to call it out equally. You have to be just as upset and outraged about the protesters as you are about the cops. You should be mad about that video of that dude's knee on that dude's neck for almost 9 minutes.
Bruh.
Should do something to the Christian.
It should break your heart.
The Christian should be like, oh my gosh.
Did that just happen?
Okay. Like, you should be like, this is not okay.
Never.
And I should not want to live in a society that is okay with this. Now, what should the church do? Talk about it. Yeah. Talk about it in your congregation. Preachers, pastors, preach it.
Yeah.
Preach it from the pulpit.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what that can do. Here's what we don't realize as the church, what power we have. Police officers are sitting in your congregation.
Come on.
Politicians are sitting in your congregation.
Yeah.
Okay? Yes, the world is the world. We don't expect much from them.
Mm-hmm.
But if the world can look at the church, people were tripping about this?
Dude.
Oh, okay, well, I guess it's not that big a deal.
That literally.
But if the church was like, as a full-on institution was like, hey, we're not cool with this. Mm-hmm. This is not okay. And be equally as upset about if any other group was being oppressed. Outright oppressed and done wrong. Okay? We may not agree with everything about those different groups, but we can say these are all image bearers and we're not cool with this. If the church as a whole, especially white churches, right congregations would come out and be like, we are not okay with this. We are against this. Yeah. That would, like it says if we would become one, dude, then they would know.
Yep.
If the world would be like, they would have to take notice of that. Like, wow.
An all-white church march with
like multiple, like the whole, every Christian's really out here like, dude, about this whole image bearer thing,
which is crazy. Because even back when Trump was running and they were talking about like building the wall and all that kind of stuff, and we were talking about the immigrant, and it was like you would see churches, you would see like white Christians going in about like how evil and how wrong it is to illegally enter this country.
Law and order.
Yeah, I'm just like, I kind of get you, but like, have you read the Bible? Yeah. Like, you're supposed to take in the immigrant. It literally, like, as plain as day, tells you to take in the immigrant. If you can read that and still be like, yeah, build a wall, do this,
keep America for Americans.
I don't understand it. First of all, Americans aren't even Americans.
Hold on. Are you a citizen of this country before you're a citizen of the kingdom?
Come on.
I mean, that's something you have to ask yourself. And I know the pushback, and I'm going to get to that right now. Okay? It is very difficult to be a Christian before I'm a black man right now. It is really hard to remember that my identity is in Christ and not I'm not a black Christian. I'm a Christian first. Yeah. So again, everything we're saying, guys, if next week some white person or some Mexican person or some whatever person is treated
in the same way
horribly, if we don't get outraged, call us out. Because we should be just as outraged about every single, because yes, all lives do matter. Yeah. So live it out. Don't say it as a response to shut Black Lives Matter up. No. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, so yes, we should be just as upset about every group.
And I can even take it a step deeper when it comes to like justice. And I understand that. I understand reputative justice. Is that what it's called?
Restorative justice and reputative.
Yeah, so reputative justice is like you do something wrong and you get punished for it. I understand that, but something that we need to establish. Let's say in the church, because like America's not going to do it.
What's supposed to be? It's in the Bible. This is the Bible's version of justice.
But the idea is like it's restorative. Therefore, we might catch a lot of flack for this, but even the officer who had his knee on George's neck and killed him, we should still push for him to be restored. Now, it's one thing for him to pay for his crimes. Yes, he should go to jail for what he did. But even more so, he should be transformed by God.
We still care about his soul.
Yeah, and I thought about this. Like, Paul was out there murdering Christians, or at least signing letters for Christians to be thrown in jail. And that was a huge crime in our eyes. He should have been put in prison for what he did. But because he had a radical transformation from God, He wasn't put in prison for our benefit.
Yes.
Now, mind you, he was a murderer.
Yeah, and imagine how all those Christians felt about him.
When he showed up?
Yes, like, you killed my so-and-so. You hurt my, like, but they took him in.
Yes.
I mean, and that's a real heart change. And that's what we're calling for. As Christians, every single Christian who is indwelt by the Holy Spirit, who has Christ living inside of them.
Yeah.
We should all be trying to bring restoration to the situation. God still cares about that justice.
Yeah, for sure.
We're still going to have to answer. The cops should still have to, all the cops just have to answer for what they're doing. The people who are just out here looting for no reason should have to answer for what they're doing. But we should be bringing understanding, compassion, love, and empathy and restoration to the situation.
Amen.
To all sides of the situation.
Amen.
That starts with, as Christians, finding some people of color, finding some black people, putting your arms around them and saying, I don't understand. I want to understand. I understand that you're hurting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, help me understand.
Yeah.
Because I'm recognizing that there's a legit wrong that has been done to your community for a very long time.
Yeah.
We can just, in the last 10 years, we can just stay there if we really want to.
I think in the last 10 years, it's been like 493 black people like recorded being killed by officers, which is crazy. That's a lot of recorded deaths. 493 in the last 10 years. It's just too many, way too many. And then when the church comes together and says, look, we won't stand for this. We're not going to be okay with this. And one of the questions I got after my video was posted and was like, what do we do now? Like, this happened. Now what do we do? I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, we need to talk about it in church. Yeah. We need to be honest with like how we feel. And like, it needs to, like, black people, make it safe for your white friends. Don't say, how do you feel? Permission. Yeah. Don't say, how do you feel about the situation? And they tell you something, it's not what you want to hear, and you rip their head off. No, then you're just as guilty as the other white people who are not feeling our pain. Yeah. Under, like, I think it's in the book of Timothy. I think Paul says, like, in all you're getting, get some understanding. I think it's Timothy or Titus. But he's saying, like, you have to give room for your brothers who don't because you have to understand that they don't understand.
They're not black. They're not us. They can't get it.
They're never.
There's only so far they can go.
Just like I will never understand what it's like to be white. They will never like. Which is crazy. I'd be like, dude, what would it be like to have white privilege? Man, fam, I'm going straight to the bank. But I think about, like, we as black people can't assume either. We can't assume that our white friends don't care. We can't assume that our white brothers and sisters don't want to feel like the lady said, like, I don't know how, I don't know what I should be feeling. Like, I know that I should feel something, but I don't know what. Yeah, you could rip her head off and be like, how can you not feel somebody died? You can do that. Do that. But it's not going to bring restoration. What brings restoration?
We're just talking in the church.
In the church, yeah. So what brings restoration is, I hear what you're saying. Let me explain to you as best that I can on how I feel and why I feel the way I feel. And hopefully it'll give you some understanding. The coolest post that I've seen came from a white woman. Her name is like Nikki Pone, something like that. But she said, saying all lives matter in response to Black Lives Matter is like saying to the fire department to drench all the houses in the neighborhood because one house is on fire. All the houses matter, yes, but there's only one house that's on fire. It's the only house that needs the water. So that house matters right now. And then another post talked about Jesus leaving the 99 sheep and going after the one. Do the 99 matter? Of course they matter, but they're not in trouble. The one is. So right now, the 99 aren't in trouble. The whole neighborhood is not on fire, just the one. So let's focus on the one. That came from a white woman. When I saw that, because at first I was like, let me check this out. Because I saw the post and I was like, let me see if she got it from somebody else. And like, no, like hers was it was a tweet. And I was like, that was her tweet. She was the original tweeter. Yeah. I was like, that's crazy. Yeah. But it was because she had a conversation. Like, she didn't just get that from nowhere. Yeah. She had a conversation with some black people, or a conversation with God, or a revelation. When I heard it, it made Black Lives Matter matter more to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the beginning, like when it started with Trayvon Martin and all that kind of, that was like, okay, I get you, but like, you know, just one. Here we are like 9 years later. This is still happening. No. We have to do something. Yeah. So I think the first thing we can do as black people to our white friends is say, this is a safe space. Nothing you say will.
Nothing you ask.
Nothing you ask will offend me. Like, I'm not going to be offended by what you ask of me because I know you don't understand. If we start there, we can go hega far.
Yeah.
But I think without starting there, we're really going to be spinning our tires in the church.
Yeah. And again, like this should be a very doable thing if we're truly indwelt by the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
If you feel some type of way, like super strongly, if you're super bothered by all this, like, no, you guys are just doing social justice, just worry about the gospel, just worry about Jesus, stop talking about all this. If it bothers you so much, question if you really have the Holy Spirit or not.
Because I heard that he can do all things.
Yeah, like
through Christ.
Like, again, you should be like, hold on, like, why are they so upset?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you guys are all just being influenced by the media, and you're all just, it's all made up, and you guys aren't victims, and stop, blah, 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 blah.
It's not true.
You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Like, start there. Like, again, assume you know nothing. You don't know what it's like to be us. You've never been us. You can't really tell us how to feel.
Right.
You haven't been us. You don't know what it's like.
I'm not, it's not like a comparison, but I felt the same way when, I think I was in the 7th or 8th grade, and we talked about actually, that's not true. We were talking about the Holocaust, and like, in a sense, like we were like reading it and like, you know, kind of getting an understanding of it. And I felt somehow connected. And I didn't like talking about it because for some reason the Holocaust reminded me of slavery.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't want to talk about this either. Like, I've never been white. I've never been German. I don't know what it's like to be a Jew. Like, I didn't understand that. And I thought it was crazy. I'm like, y'all both white. How is this like a thing? How is like, I just didn't understand it. Yeah. But when we were going through it, I empathized. I felt the pain that they were feeling, but I don't know what it was like. I don't know what it's like. Like, I don't know what it was like to live in that time. And I tried to like ask. I had one friend, his name was Sam. He was like redhead, just like green eyes, just all kinds of like white. But like, he was part German, and I think it was his grandmother or his great grandmother was like literally in the Holocaust, and she was like one of the survivors. And like, we were going through it, and he would just be like, I don't want to talk about this. And he would just get like really, really angry. And I remember just like asking, like, why are you so mad? Like, this happened like forever ago. And then he explained that his great grandmother, who was still alive at the time, went through that. And it's like, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
I'm like, I get it. Like, I can understand why you would flip your desk around the classroom. Like, the teacher don't understand. He's like, you're going to be going to the principal's office. Well, we don't understand. Like, we should ask him why he did that. Like, it's not, and he was like a smart kid. It wasn't like he was like a bad rotten apple. Even if he was, we still had to ask, what made you react this way? What made you flip your desk? Well, we're talking about something that really hurts me.
And I just got a revelation as far as like, me and Brandon don't know what it's like to be women.
Trill.
Like, we're never going to understand like what it's like as a woman. You're constantly in fear.
Yeah.
Because like you can't really physically protect yourself if you don't have a weapon.
Yeah.
Like, you're at the mercy of like men all around you. So you're always like having to just be watchful of where you're at in what situation, and like, you're alone. And
especially for our wives have like expressed this to us. So we know for a fact, like, my wife is like, I hate going to Walmart and people are just too close to me because I don't know like what they're doing. Like, when she's like, I'm in a line, I'm like, she's loving social distancing right now because it's like, hey, your square is back there. But when there wasn't, she was like, I hate going. Like, she told me, I was like, babe, go to Walmart, get this. And like, I don't want to go. And I'm like, you never go to Walmart. And she was like, well, this is why. Now I go to Walmart.
Yes, but we'll never understand. But like, we can admit that, and we're open to listen.
Yeah.
So that's all
and to change our behavior.
Yes.
Because of what their response was.
Yeah. So man. So I'm not even gonna worry about people who aren't saved. in this situation. I don't expect very much from you.
No.
Okay, I got to convince you that God is real and that human beings are made in His image and that therefore they have value first, and convince you that you're a sinner, everyone else is a sinner, and sin is a thing, including racism. Mm-hmm. If we can get there, then there can be a real heart change and an actual change. Because policy is not going to change people's hearts.
No.
Politicians can't do it. Legislation can't do it. Only the Holy Spirit and God can actually change people's hearts, and that's what's going to end racism.
Yeah.
So it has to start in the church. So I'm calling out the church.
Yeah.
Every church, whatever your congregation is, whatever your ethnicity is in your congregation, like I'm calling y'all out. We need to be having this conversation. And let me be real, black people, black Christians, we've been talking about it. True. So we've talked it out. Y'all need to talk about it now.
Yeah.
Come talk to us.
Yeah. We need to be an event to y'all. And just know that you have power in your voice. Like, don't, like, black and white, just don't be silent. I think that's like the worst thing you can do right now is to be indifferent. Like, oh, well, it's just whatever. No, apathy is the word.
That's right.
Apathy is not what's needed here. It's not ever needed, honestly. You have to make a decision. At least to know if you are with us or against us. Like, we can't. Like, if you're a racist, just tell us you're racist. Yeah. Like, we're still going to love you, maybe at a distance, but we're still going to love you. But we just need to know, like, how to organize, how to strategize without the fear of being sabotaged. I think that's something that that goes through black people's minds at the same time. It's like, well, we want to do this march, but, like, you know, if everybody's not down, we need to know that. And if you're not down, you need to stay here. If you're trying to, like, if you're not for us, you need to, like, go somewhere. So I think that's something that needs to be said in church. Like, you just need to pick a side, or not even pick a side. You need to pick what is right. Like, you need to say, like,
pray.
This is an injustice. Yeah. God, help me to see the injustice if you don't see it. And which is crazy, there are black people who are not down for what's happening right now. And I get it, kind of. But even for you have to understand that injustice, especially if you're the Christian, like, you have to see it as an injustice, and you have to see it like, if this can happen to one person, then that means it can happen to everybody.
Yeah, because this sin is in every